from one day to the next, everything that you built, that stability, that carpet felt like a carpet was just ripped from under you. He's like, why don't you just fire yourself from corporate America and be your own boss? You have to have relationships in business if you want to be successful.
Welcome again to I Got an Accent, so what? Oh my God, today I have this beauty, okay? Her name is Gladys, and her last name, I'm going to confess to you guys, it's really hard to pronounce.
Trasorras.
You see? Imagine, guys.
Trasorras.
Imagine me trying to say that. You guys know I was going to mess it up, okay? But today I want to bring this amazing beauty, again, from Cuba and half Puerto Rican, right? South Florida, my amazing Gladys, okay? Motivator speaker. She's a book writer. She's an entrepreneur. She has her own entire Golden Touch tanning company in South Florida. What I don't do. I know. You are epiphany of what a boss babe, an amazing woman should be doing, living in your purpose. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Me and Gladys connected, I would say, a month and a half ago. Yes. Mutual friend of us connected us, and he's been behind me. You need to speak to Gladys. Yeah. She, speak your same language. You guys were connected, and I'm like, come on, Angel. I'm not going to have time. And he's behind me, and finally he's like, can you stay in the line for 2 seconds? I'm like, go ahead. He calls Gladys. He puts her on the phone, and we were an hour and a half talking about purpose, and the connection and the attraction was instantly.
Absolutely.
Which I have to confess to you is very, very rare that happens to me because as you see, I'm always in the go. Yeah. Too many things, kids, company, teams, everything. Yeah. But your story, your persona, everything was instantly was a magnetism, and that's what God does a lot of times. Absolutely. When people need to be in the right time, in the right moment. And Gladys, tell us what this beautiful queen it's all about. I want our audience to hear your story, to hear of who's Gladys.
Sure. Well, like she said, I'm a little Cubanita. I was actually born in New York, but I'm of Cuban descent, and I was raised in Miami, Florida. And as a child, I had a really rough upbringing, much like yourself. I mean, your story is phenomenal of your survival, coming from Cuba all the way to Miami. My story was a survival of much abuse. As a child, I was verbally, physically, and sexually abused as a little girl. And so I had every reason to fail in life. As a matter of fact, I remember living off of the government. My mom was a single mom of 3 kids, and she just couldn't afford anything, growing up. And I just remember, history repeats itself, and the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And so I ended up being like my mom, a single mom, and I found myself at age 21 with a little boy at the time, and living off of food stamps, living off of the government. And I thought to myself, okay, I have a choice to make right now. I'm going to either be a victim of society and be another, single mom, or I'm going to be a victor, and I'm going to completely change my life, change the course of my life, and do something different, And I just remember thinking to myself, how am I going to do this, And God came into my life at a very young age. I started going to a youth group about 9 years old, and although I knew a lot about God, I didn't really know God. And there's a difference. And so as I was growing up, I would hear the truth, and I would hear the truth, and those seeds were kind of sown in my heart. But as as a believer, that the word of God never returns void, and so I tried to do my own thing for a little while there, but God is so incredible, and he's so loving, and he's so gentle that no matter how many times we try to run, he always chases us and tries to bring us back home. And so I remember, being with my best friend and in an apartment in Miami, and she said to me, I told her, hey, I think I'm going to go to college. And I'm going to, kind of get my life together and go to school. And she said, yeah, right, get dressed. We're going to Club Space.
Oh my God.
And then I'll never forget, like, I had a dream that night. And in the dream, God spoke to me through my youth pastors. And he said, I want you to go to ORU. I want you to go to Oral Roberts, which is one of the largest Christian, universities. And he goes, and I want you to go to college. If not, you're going to miss what I have for you.
Wow.
And I'll never forget, I woke up so shaken. It was the most real dream I had ever had in my entire life. And I literally called ORU. I didn't think that they would ever, take me in. I didn't have any money. I had a little boy. I was a single mom. But lo and behold, I called and they took me in. And I ended up going to college. I did 4 years and 3. I ended up becoming a reporter right out of senior year in high school. I studied journalism. I was a worship leader for a church. And literally all my jobs after that were basically given to me, offered to me, all 5 jobs in TV and in advertising. And then one day I fired myself from corporate America. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. And I became my own boss. And for 10 years, I have been my own boss ever since. I never looked back.
Yeah, we never talked about in that hour and a half. If not, that would have probably 4 more hours. I did not know that, Gladys.
Yeah.
And that is talking about timing
Yeah.
and having a purpose in your life. And that's an incredible testimony that many need to hear about that.
Yeah.
Coming, and you said something, I was not meant with my background to be, and
Success, yeah.
It was, and a lot of people that are listening to that sometimes you think that I have messed up so many times, my life is not worth living for. This is
not good enough, yeah.
perfect testimony, of what it is to turning your life around completely, completely from what society in a really rough city, because Miami is really rough.
Yeah.
So to turn it around and having all that, it's very incredible. It's talking about that you found that purpose in you and you went for it in your life turnaround and having, that favor. It's incredible, To be quite honest, I'm in awe because I did not know that. And that's why it's so important for us to share.
Absolutely.
A lot of time we're scared to ask them, tell me about yourself. Either because we're always in a hurry or we don't have the time, or sometimes we're even scared to hear that. But it's so very important to hear that person, where they came from, because what I see now in what you told me, it's two different persona of how you turn around your life to be a successful woman that you are today. I want to know now that transition in corporate America.
Yeah.
To be an entrepreneur. How was that?
Yeah. Well, although I had tons of success in television, I lived my dreams. God opened so many doors for me. I was at the right place at the right time. Really, God gave me supernatural favor. I worked for TBN, for Trinity Broadcasting Network for 5 years, and I floor directed all of the TV shows for the president of my university. So I just had from glory to glory, blessing after blessing in my television career. And then AT&T Advertising Solutions approached me. And although I was making a 6-figure income, I was doing amazing. I realized that in corporate America, I was only going to make so much.
Okay.
And that I was only going to have 1 hour of lunch, 1 week of paid vacation. I was only going to have, a boss telling me, hey, you're late. Where are you? And I realized I could only go so far. And one day I also realized when the recession hit in 2008, they pulled us all into a room and they say, hey guys, we're so sorry, but we have to lay everybody off.
Wow.
From one day to the next, everything that you built, that stability, that carpet felt like a carpet was just ripped from under you. And I was the only one in that room that kept the job, but I was the only one that was willing to move.
Wow.
Everybody else got laid off. So I started in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I ended up moving to Baton Rouge just to keep my job in corporate America. And then eventually I ended up back with that same job in advertising in Miami, Florida. And I didn't even know at the time that God was actually preparing me during that season. And so one thing I've learned in business and in life is to trust the process that God puts you in, because he always has purpose. So when I was in TV, when I was in advertising, God was preparing me, not knowing that one day I would become my own boss. And so from one day to the next, I was upset because even though I had worked in 3 markets in advertising, they said, hey, Gladys, by the way, you're getting a new boss. We're selling the company.
Oh, wow.
It's not going to be called AT&T anymore. We're changing the name to YP. And we're basically, they said, we're going to give you more and more work and less pay. And there's nothing you can do about it. Basically, everybody's got a pay cut because they sold the company. And so I was like, oh my gosh. So I just remember being in a room with one of my friends venting. He was actually really gorgeous and I really liked him. So he was beautiful. He was a firefighter. And of course, you know, that held a lot of weight at the time in my So se llamaba Chiqui. And I'm like, Chiqui, this is happening to me. What did I? He goes, Gladys. He goes, are you serious? He goes, you know advertising. He's like, why don't you just fire yourself from corporate America and be your own boss?
Wow.
And I said, you know, that actually sounds like a really good idea right now. And then I said, but what would I do? And he goes, just do mobile spray tanning. Yo me reí. He's the one that gave me the idea. And I literally laughed at him because I was like, mobile spray tanning? I was a reporter. I worked in TV. What do you mean mobile? I don't know anything about mobile spray tanning. And he looks at me and he goes, well, learn. He said, learn. And then I go, yeah, but that industry's turning everybody orange. It smells nasty. It takes like 30 minutes. And then he's like, just think about it. And I was like, all right, you know. And so, of course, I went home. Since it was coming from him, I really liked him, thought he was amazing. So I started thinking.
That is incredible.
And I started thinking. I was like, okay, well, I know that the riches are in the niches. Advertising 101. I knew that the industry had a problem. So I thought to myself, well, what if I can find the solution? What if I can turn people brown and not orange? What if I could make people smell good and not nasty? What if I could make a 30-minute experience and turn it into a 3-minute experience? And I did just that. And my first year in business, I put myself on the first pages of Google because that was my area of expertise. And I got a call from a reality TV show that does the Kardashians, Jersey Shore, and the Bad Girls Club.
Wow.
They're like, hey, do you want to be on the Bad Girls Club? And I was like, heck yeah, sign me up.
A bad girl all the time.
I'll tan all the bad girls. I'm a good girl, but I'll tan the bad girls any day. I'll turn their white booties and turn them black, no problem. So I literally tan all these white celebrities and I turned them dark. And my business tripled from year 1 to year 2. And fast forward to 10 years later, I have been doing that for 10 years. And I've had the privilege and honor of tanning celebrities like Paris Hilton, Steve Madden, New Kids on the Block, Miss Teen USA, Miss Universe. I've met all kinds of incredible people from every walks of life. And I've never looked back.
Wow. You know what is the most incredible thing about that? And when there's a will, there's a power, right?
So yeah.
For anybody that is in that edge of, I know I need to do something with my life.
Yeah.
I know that I'm worth more than what I'm doing. I know I was not created or I was not born just to be. And again, this is kudos for those are, 9-to-5 jobs. Hey, if that's your passion, go even harder, because life is about living life with purpose and even more going beyond what your self can, right? But that was not even an industry. That was your passion. Talking about turning your life around just because somebody put in you a little curiosity and you found a way to fix a problem that it was like, I don't want people to be orange. What can I do different? Finding your niche. Guys out there, find something, and it could be the simplest thing, the things that does not make sense. And you guys can, find a way, and God would always provide. That's incredible that you went for it, and not only went for it. And a lot of people, I talk to my producer all the time, guys, and I was like, let's put ourselves in that situation, and we'll find a way, and we'll find the answer, and we will find the solution.
Absolutely.
It's just exposing yourself. You
100%.
expose yourself, you find, what was needed, and not only that, you're successful because that was the only thing, and you went at it.
And the key thing, if I could give anybody advice, is the one thing that I know is I don't know anything. And you always have to be humble enough to not think you know everything. And even though you can have a plan, to understand that God can change that plan and make it way better than you ever imagined. You have to stay open because who knows, lightning can strike. And I think that if I would have, looked at Cheeky and stayed laughing at him, what I would have missed out on was everything that I get to live now, which is I get to live life on my terms. I get to wake up when I'm done sleeping. I get to work out with my trainer whenever I want. I get to spend quality time with my little girl. I get to travel and meet beautiful people like you. And I get to write books and inspire and help other women and men be their own boss. And I never imagined that God had this journey for me in his will for my life, because I love that scripture that says, many are the plans of men, but it is the will of the Lord that prevails, and God's ways are so much better than our ways, and we make all these plans, but we also have to stay open to God's perfect will.
Absolutely.
For our lives, because that is where your joy will be. If I could give one word of advice, it's to find your passion, because that's where your prosperity is going to be. Find what you're passionate about, and that's where you will prosper.
What you brought today that I love is that a lot of time people, or you get in that cycle that trying to find, what am I good at, or what should I be doing? But your perfect example in your testimony shows that just pick something and throw yourself out there, because you don't have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
At the contrary, and you said living your life with that purpose that God will always provide, and things will come to you. Our connection was like that, and I don't want to finish today with not even making it public. I want you to, I want to thank you for driving 3-4 hours from Miami.
No problem.
Well, she didn't drove, okay? Unpaid. Tesla drove her. But regardless.
Like you go the touch.
You know what? It was worth listening to this and our audience to see that there's a light of hope. I want to talk about your new book.
Yes.
Because
so
she sent me a little no, what do you think, this or that? And I love the cover. I can't wait to read it and to impact those people in there. Tell me about that book and what is it that you're pouring in there?
Well, many years ago when I was in college, putting myself through school and, raising my little boy, God put in my heart, to write a book called From the Pit to the Palace, because even at that time, even though I wasn't living the life that I am now living, I knew that with God, all things were possible. And I knew that he had greatness inside of me and inside of every one of us. We just have to tap into that, greatness, because it's kind of like your last guest even said, we all have a God-given purpose. We all have an assignment that we were created to fulfill. And so when we tap into who we are designed to be, that's when we're actually really satisfied, fulfilled, and content, because we're connected with the Creator, vertically, and then we're able to connect with our purpose and with others horizontally,
Wow.
And so it's so powerful when you learn who you are, whose you are, why you were created, what your purpose is, and then you actually do it. And then you're like, wow, like this is amazing. So God had put that desire in my heart many, many years ago. And it was just now, that I'm 44. Oh my
Oh
God.
my God, you look
Nobody say anything, but yeah, I'm 44 years old, Lord
Fabulous.
Jesus. Listen, to God, we had like 120 years. So I ain't even halfway through my life. So don't get me started. Anyways, so I'm 44, and it was kind of cool the way God worked it all out. I went to a conference for entrepreneurs in Wynwood in Miami. I ended up meeting my mentors.
Yeah.
And they're, super successful guys or billionaires, and God put them in my path. One of them happens to be a pastor. And just from that relationship, I ended up investing into them. I think I invested into myself, because if you want to be successful, you got to invest into yourself.
Yes.
I threw down like $10,000. I invested into myself. And so from that relationship, which that's key, you have to have relationships in business if you want to be successful. In other words, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Wow.
And I found them, God put them in my path, and one of the things that they taught me was how to write a book in 7 days.
Wow.
And they connected me with the publisher, they connected me with the ghostwriter, with everybody that's helping me, with the editor for my book. And so I have finally, 44 years of age, been able to make that dream that God gave me so long ago a reality. And it was so cool the way he all worked out. Even the photo shoot, it came out like amazing. I booked it from one day to the next. The pictures were incredible. It was like a overcast day. The wind was blowing, so it was like all natural. It looked like something out of a movie. And the pictures that came out for the cover of the book were, wow. I was like, wow, God, I couldn't have done this myself even if I tried. It was such a work of God. It was such a work of like destiny, of purpose.
Perfection.
And so, yeah, it was just meant to be.
Yes.
And the book is called How to Be Your Own Boss, and it's called From the Pit to the Palace. And so I'm walking people on the first couple of chapters. I'm sharing my story, moments of favor, moments of pain, moments of lessons, moments of blessings in my life, because I wanted to inspire people and I wanted to help them see God's love and his favor and how walking with him makes everything come together the way it's supposed to, so that we can trust God and not lean to our own understanding, but trust the process that he has for our lives. And so that's the first couple chapters. And then I wanted to just walk people step by step on how to be their own boss, because people just don't know where to start.
Yeah.
They want to do it. They have the passion. They have the desire, but they don't know the ABCs of how to get from point A to point B to all the way to Z. So I wanted to walk them step by step on how to start an LLC, how to start an S Corp or a corporation, how to advertise your business, how to market your business, how to get influencer. I mean, everything on how to be your own boss and become a success in whatever it is that you choose to do. So that's what my book is about.
That's amazing, Gladys, because you're not only you're doing something good for this world, for this society. People that, you cannot make it even more clear. Like, if you want to learn how to start and do it, you need to follow this amazing woman, which this podcast, everything's going to be tagged. You need to get this book. I can't wait to get that book.
I'm excited.
Me and Jeremy are huge in reading books, and we have actually a goal that we read a book a week.
That's amazing.
So I can't wait,
So
because
smart.
there's so much that we can get. Our time is so limited in this world, because we don't know. We know when we come, but we don't know when we live.
Right?
And when you start seeing life in that perspective of, we know when we come, but we don't know when we live, and we're so afraid of dying, but that is going to be our end result. But then when you live a life with, how can I impact? How can I change somebody? And I can wait for that book to be a blessing to many, even my audience. And I wanted to connect with you with that. Now that you guys understand what we were talking for an hour and a half, and I know we left a lot, but I want to do that. You guys already know my drill. You know what I'm going to ask her next. But we're going to do this because me and her have a dinner, because we have to go to this dinner that I can't wait to even talk longer for that. because I know there's a purpose. There's nothing in life just with the flow of it. Everything is timing and it's got
100%.
purpose. What would you tell that young Gladys?
When I was younger, I would tell her that, no guts, no glory. Get shit done. At a 200%, 100%, no excuses. If you want something bad enough, you don't make excuses. You make a way. And there's no one and nothing that can stop you from fulfilling your purpose and your dreams and your passion except for you. Your own limiting beliefs. Having fear over faith. Choose faith over fear. And that's how you're going to succeed. You have to conceive it. You have to believe it. And lastly, that's the only way you will ever achieve it. That's what I would tell her.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you've done. So no regrets.
No regrets.
Everything in your life was meant to be for the woman that you are, and the best is yet to come.
Amen.
Whatever you have reached has nothing to describe was the next level for Gladys.
Amen.
And I'm so honored to have met you, to connect with you. I felt your heart. And
To the top.
I bless you.
Amen.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy this episode. Again, see you the next time. Love you.